back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dragonaut, and this is some Warhammer 2 Total War as Thorek Ironbrow, who's on a bit of a vacation currently, and will continue to be for the next 2 or 3, 4 turns, maybe. I'm going to recruit some extra Longbeards for his army, and then there is this quest battle that he needs to do over here against a... well, a relatively tough enemy, honestly. I mean, these Pistoliers are not a problem. Though I think they were buffed at some point. They now actually, you know, the damage that they do is fairly miserable, but it's not as miserable as it used to be. Huntsman, I'm, you know, not ideal, and this should melt fairly easily. The Greatswords are anti-infantry and armor piercing, which is pretty much ideal for fighting Longbeards, but Longbeards are just great, so, you know. He does have a missile specialist and sword infantry general, so yeah, it's, you know, it's neither here nor there. They're not a very easy battle. Certainly the you know, there are certainly much easier quest battles out there, but there are certainly harder ones as well. For now, though, time to get a good look at the Skaven, and I think yeah, so we knew they were there. There is a small army here, that's good. If they're separated, that's that can only be advantageous for us. Now I'm very curious as to this whole area, so the Floating Village and Morgheim. This has how much? Chaos Corruption 85%. That leads me to believe this is not populated by Skaven. What we probably have is the Herdstone raised over here, and then they went around raising settlements sort of as they go, you know, as they do. But that's probably all that happened. I don't think Skaven occupied this. I'm assuming that there's gonna be Skaven here in Nagashazar and the Desolation of Nagash, maybe. I can't say for sure, but maybe. And definitely in Valea's Sorrow. But that should be it, meaning Skaven shouldn't be that hard to deal with. And I think a look at the power ratings is gonna tell us the full story. Yeah. They're not harmless. I mean, they're weaker than the Dune Kingdoms. They're stronger than the Knights of Caledor. They're about as strong as the Bowmen of Orion, and I expect them to have like one full stack, maybe? So, yeah. I wonder where the rest of their armies are, but for now, we go to war. They do not have any friends, allies, or anything along those lines, so this should be a fairly straightforward war, but you know how it is. Now, is this Crooked Moon Mutineers Gits? Yes, it is. They usually have a lot of forces. A valiant defeat with high casualties.
Attack! Plan scheme is discordant.
Jeez, what's this? Breeding pits, fortified entries, yeah. They have walls there. I mean... yes. The main problem here... let's go this... Untainted Wallbreaker and then Lightning Strike. The main problem here is Skaven Corruption, which is at 24%. It's currently going down. Maybe keeping up the siege wouldn't be a terrible idea. The main issue is they have Menace Below, right? And Menace Below can target the Grudge Throwers. When Menace Below targets the Grudge Throwers, certain problems start to arise, right, as you might think. But at the same time... Okay, while I think about that, let's go to the Forge, and, you know, it's arguably the main feature for the dwarves over here, so... Charge bonus, unbreakable. Don't like it. Let's recycle it. Gambler's armor, we're going to keep that. Warrior's bane. Bad weapon. Magic resistance, bad weapon. Let's recycle all of that. So now we have a fair bit of oath gold, and let's see what we want to create. Do we want any banner runes? Missile strength plus 20 for the assigned artillery unit. Maybe. That's not bad. Sorry. Lord save plus 10. Let's take a look at some of the weapons and armor instead. Yeah, Gatekeeper's helm. Missile and magic resistance in range. Constant plus 18 armor. Sure, we'll get that. And then I'm also looking at like a talisman or a weapon, probably a weapon. Do we have any good ones? Mind you, we don't have a lot of oath gold, so... We have the Prospector's Pickaxe, which I mean, I guess I can use another one of. They're pretty darn good weapons. Like, Sundering Attacks are great. Because very often, I'll explain why I think they're great, and you know, feel free to disagree with me and everything, of course. But I'll explain why I think they're great. Sundering attacks usually, in my experience, tend to tie down units a lot better. That means if you have a single entity unit that's going to attack a block of like 100 or 120 infantry, very often that block of infantry will tend to ignore the single entity unit, especially if it's like a lord like this. Again, this isn't a size joke about dwarves, it's just that they are just a single entity humanoid. They're not a monster, right? So they are monsters in combat, but not in a literal sense. So because of that, they tend to ignore them, but if you have sundering attacks, you block more of the unit with the sundering, right? And very often lords will fight either one-on-one against other lords, or alternatively they will fight blocks of infantry. In both situations, sundering attacks are actually very good. So much so that even in one-on-one they can interrupt enemy attacks from hitting you, and thus, you know, just give you the ability to win fights a lot more easily. Even if your stats are a little bit weaker than the opponent's, and you'll still do much better in combat because you're interrupting his attacks. Anyways, that aside, we now have to decide, now we've spent oath gold, we have to decide whether we want, whether we want to deal with this siege right now or not. And I think we do, because I don't know where the other army is. Or the other armies, they might have multiple. And here we go. Luckily this is an extraordinarily easy settlement to siege. Matter of fact, I would say this is the worst settlement in the game for defense. It is absolutely the hardest to defend. There is no two ways about it. I think there is no settlement that's more difficult to defend than this one. Matter of fact, I would prefer to fight people in an open field of battle than like this. It is indeed that bad, so yeah. The only sort of slight saving grace that this settlement has is this isn't the deployment zone. If it was, you'd be, you know, you'd be in some trouble. It really needs like a tower here, like multiple towers here to be any useful, but even then, like, you know, and then go this way, and just terrible, just absolutely terrible. What are some of the best settlements for defense? The forts. I suppose that sort of makes sense, right? The Empire forts. Well, I guess not the Empire forts, but I think it was the Empire that built them. originally. But anyways, yeah, the forts around the Empire, like between Britannia and the Empire, or down south towards the Border Princes, yeah, those are actually really good and pretty mainstream and simple to defend. Now, let's just move everything up, like so. I want to be able to hit this tower, should that ever be necessary. And tell you what, they don't have any ranged units here, so why don't you just set up and start firing? Yeah, not a lot of damage, but what can you do about it? Yeah, okay. That's kind of funny. I'm not sure how that's going to affect your accuracy, so I'll err on the side of safety, I guess. Okay, stop. And get the Longbeards to fight that. And that's what I was afraid of, that they were going to keep doing that. And, I mean, they are, but... No, get down here, get all the gyrocopters down here, even though that is kind of funny that you're firing from the heavens. Why don't you... Actually, yeah, the Brimstone one is going to take out the Rat Ogres, because I think that's what you're better at doing. And you can drop a few more bombs like that. Do a bit of damage. And there's Skaven slaves coming in, so we should back off a little bit. Okay, how much damage did they do? I'm thinking they probably exploded on the Longbeards, because I don't see how they could do... Yeah. That's the problem with fighting Skaven. You cannot defend your artillery against them. Matter of fact, you're not meant to. You're just meant to lose it. Well, you can imagine what I think about the entire situation. This is just hilarious. They go up here and they actually fire. It's just funny. Take out the Skaven slaves, please. I'm assuming this is the Plague Clock Catapult. Yes, it is. Okay, tell you what, let's go. We have a new job. We need to get rid of the Plague Claw Catapult, which doesn't have all that impressive range, and to be honest with you, I could just bait it like this and just have it use up all its ammunition, but I feel like that's a bit much even for me. Besides, Night Runners and Gutter Runners, they're really good, but they're not good enough to take out 2 units of gyrocopters that are just flying over them. Like, it's a helicopter, come on, it's not that easy to destroy. Night Runners, let's go like this. Here and like this. Assuming that this is going to make hitting us a little bit more difficult. Oh, they're firing, move.
On the way. Move, go, strike out.
Jesus, okay. Go through and you can drop the bombs, or you can. Yeah, I'm done with this. Get out of here. What are you doing? I didn't turn on defense mode for you, did I? No, I didn't. Or guard mode, sorry. The same thing. Yeah, just get out of here. You've done enough damage to yourselves. And Cazador has enough ward save and armor to just tank all of this, honestly. Besides, the warp throwers have... oh, sorry, the catapult blade catapult throwers have
Shield bearers home! Range
very limited ammunition, let's say.
for the Karas and Core! Bomb those dwarven legs! We will have vengeance!
Okay, do I know what its range is? Oh, he's just out of... okay. Might even be easier to dodge him with gyrocopters, honestly, because they're flying and they're very erratic in their movement. I mean, they're difficult to hit stationary as is. I'm assuming there's going to be... Why do you do that? Like, it's... Sometimes they just don't bloody listen, and it's annoying. Like, you have guard mode. I told you to shoot them. If you can't shoot them, you're supposed to just sit still, basically, and be like, no, we're obstructed. If I wanted you to move every time you needed to shoot something, I would have told you. Like, there's a specific button designed to stop you from doing that. I will say, though, fighting Skaven brings out the worst in me for two reasons. One, they're my favourite race, and I have to fight them. Two, they're annoying as all hell to fight, which I understand is a design decision. And I kind of approve of it, but at the same time, it doesn't make it any less annoying, you know what I mean? Like, and it says the person cheesing the game for the entirety of every battle, practically. But at the same time, like, you know, you have to meet me halfway here, do you know what I mean? Like, is it going to keep shooting, or is it already out of ammo? No, it's not out of ammo, it's just turned its back on me. Ah, there we go. Yes, this is what I wanted you to do. Yeah, continue shooting pointlessly at the Legendary Lord. Yes. And then I don't have to sacrifice my gyrocopters for you. By the way, gyrocopters lost health. Oh no, they're chariots. Gyrocopters are chariots. Juggernaut 2021. Look. No, they're not chariots, but they act as chariots in that they count as chariots to the battle result screen. That means that if you haven't lost one of them, they're actually at full health at all times. They just replenish all of their health immediately. It's not a turn to replenish, they just do not lose health unless they lose an entity. At least that was how they worked the last time I played with them. If they got nerfed, well, we're gonna find out, you know, is all I can say. But I don't think they did. I think that's still how they work. Okay, I would now like you to target the Night Runners right there. I would like you to target them without moving, preferably. Preferably. I work with idiots. Yeah, Night Runners are actually tough to dodge. I mean, I say that I haven't taken any damage yet, but... Yeah, alright, there we go. No, Storm Vermin, yes, those... famous, high-quality... troops that the Skaven have in their roster. Between me and you, it's probably the worst unit in the Skaven roster. It's supposed to do the same job as Skaven slaves, except it's big. You can't shoot through it, because, you know, they're valuable as something. They're the worst tier 3 melee infantry unit in the game. They're ridiculously expensive, and it's just pointless to even recruit them. It takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of resources to recruit. They're a high tier unit, and they just don't do damage, and they don't hold the line. Maybe on like easy difficulty or something you could get away with them, because, I don't know, but even then, like, difficulty... Like, easy difficulty doesn't actually make the battles easier. It makes it so, well, it does, but not in that way. It doesn't make your units better. It just makes it so that the AI has less leadership, but it doesn't change any of their stats. So Storm Vermin are like, they're kind of equally useless regardless of difficulty, you know what I mean? Like, their performance is the same, they just have more leadership, so they don't break as easily. Okay, but you know, they don't have more weapon strength or whatever, or more armor or something. Of course, they're going to fight less enemies, or fewer enemies, pardon me. So I guess that, you know, changes things a little bit for them. But at the same time, like, you know, does it really? I'd like to get rid of this Warlock Engineer. Yeah. One more volley onto... Maybe even kill him, yeah. I got him. These are doing great damage over here, it's just that hitting things in the back seems to be a bit of a problem. Okay, I'd love you to take out those warp fire throwers. Let's try and move up a little bit. I don't know why you have the need to switch places like that, but fine. Yeah, Kazook and all of that. Just make sure these don't get hit, because I don't want to lose a helicopter. Man, the extra ammo on the Quarrelers is being felt. That's where their range ends. They're firing over here. It's Quarrelers, man. It's freaking Quarrelers. That's why you use them as damage dealers in the army and not like dwarf infantry or whatever. As good as that infantry is, like it's, you know, there's just some things are better, and I'm sorry, but that's the truth of it. Yeah, there's targets over there, so I'd like you to stop firing. The Quarrelers are going to get rid of the rest of this. I'd like you to go here. And in accordance with that, I would like you to take care of the Night Runners. Both these ones here and the ones up there. Matter of fact, you three are going to shoot the ones up there. Pretty sure you can reach them. Yeah, you can. You can because you're awesome, unlike those Night Runners. It's not their fault, this is not how they're supposed to be fighting. They're not supposed to die on the walls, they're supposed to die on the field. Which, you might think, Juggernaut, that doesn't make much of a difference, but it does. You know, in some ways it does. Shouldn't we be like... Yeah, we're near army losses, and the balance of power still thinks that for some reason the Skaven have this. They don't. Like, spoiler warning, sorry, but they just don't. Okay, we don't have a lot of ammo, so let's get rid of those gutter runners, and I'm pretty sure that's like the last unit that's gonna stay and actually fight. Yeah, you're running out of ammo, I know. Oh, there's another unit of gutter runners. Okay. Hold fire. Wait for the other unit to get into position. Okay, they have a lot of gutter runners. I didn't expect this many. We can actually fight these, because I mean, we've broken most of the army, so... Get into position. Okay, move up some more. Actually, no. Fire out the rattling guns. I have a sneaking suspicion that those rattling guns are responsible for like 90% of the enemy's balance of power. And yes, I know you're being shot at, it's fine. Oof. Big oof. Look at this. Just gone, half the unit, one volley. Oof. Yeah, they're moving around now, so they're going to take fewer casualties, but even then, like, that is just nasty. Okay, all the way back for you. Oh, and now we get to see those sundering attacks. Mind you, we have not the greatest frame rate because of all the bodies stacked on top of each other, but... Actually, no, you don't have the sundering attacks yet because you only get the weapon next turn. But that's fine. All the way back for you as well. I know one of them still has ammo, but I don't need it. Just get out of here, right? Okay, Warp Fire Team. Very different from the previous ones, though they look kind of similar. They look very similar from an artillery's perspective as well. I'm honestly kind of shocked that we still haven't inflicted army losses on them. I mean, that's what, like... Wow. That's 214 out of 2,578, and they're still fighting. I mean, the Gracie is still alive. I guess that counts for something, but, like... Get real, do you know what I mean? Like... There are limits to stubbornness, and, Wow, yeah, that's all my ammo gone. I didn't have any runes for this battle, but... Jesus. I mean, these guys as well, they're coming back to the fight with like 50 left. That's... I never do that when I'm around. I've had units of like 100 rout for no reason, but... I understand it's always more difficult for the player, that you get much less leadership and all of that on that.
Nothing can stop us. Off we go.
Anything except easy, but then again, it's like, you know.
We will have vengeance.
Kind of happy to let Cazador take all the damage. Okay, these are rattling guns, we should be careful. Actually, we shouldn't fight them like this. Like I said, I'm happy to let Cazador take all the damage from this. He's gonna recover the quickest. And then there's the Warp Fire Team. I'm gonna use the helicopters. I'm gonna use the helicopters for this, because it's honestly a bit ridiculous. And army losses. Okay, that took about, well... I mean, you have army losses with like the last 5 units or so. It's a little bit insane. Look at all the kills, Jesus. Oh, and yeah, they still work exactly the same. There's 4 helicopters, so they get all their health back. I guess that's like one of the saving graces of the unit, which is, like, look, 16,000 damage dealt, 5,000 damage dealt. Ugh. Yeah, is all I can say. I mean, this one did okay actually compared to the gyrocopters. I don't know, man. But again, I think Quarrel is a king. I don't care what the damage numbers say. I think Quarrel is a king. Anyways. That's 2 Skaven settlements gone, and I would like to see how much their balance of power has deteriorated. Not a lot, barely any. So yeah, that is correct in that sense. That army was well, that army was nothing, effectively. Definitely ammunition for the Quarrelers. That was, like, they did a ton of damage. That was without any buffs from Cazador. A terrifying unit. An absolutely terrifying unit. Do you want to build a... yeah, I want to build this, and then... I've already queued up the units for him. I think we just end turn. There's nothing else to do. Oh yeah, the Thane. I completely forgot about him. I sent him off on his journey some time ago. By the way, I haven't talked about this since last episode. I still don't have internet, and matter of fact, it's getting worse. My internet service provider is once again denying me the service of internet, which is just an infinitely funny thing to say to me. I'm sorry I keep repeating it, but not only that, I have been now roughly like 24 hours without internet, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think it's been like around 24 hours without internet.
Summon me if you dare.
I think we're approaching grounds of breaching contracts, right? Because I actually pulled up the bloody contract. Let me just grab something really quickly. And no, it's not the contract. I'm not going to keep complaining. There we go. Alright, sorry about that. Let's continue. I'm going to talk about something else. I'm not going to talk about my frustrating internet. No. I want to go this way. I don't want to march this way, actually.
What?
You have 18 units, which isn't great. I think I'm going to give you, like, Iron Drakes or something, just to spice things up.
By the grudge bearer's will.
And I'm going to put you here.
Time for a reckoning.
Believe it or not, I expected this to happen, and I kind of wished it to happen. It's an underway interception, which is great for me. It's a long corridor, basically. It's not good for the weapons teams. It's good for artillery. This is a strong army. I'm gonna take losses. I'm definitely going to take losses, but that's okay. And here we go. This is what I was talking about. It's just a long hallway, basically. Doesn't look like that, but like if you take a look at the shape of the map, yeah. So the only thing I'm slightly worried about is the menace from below, but they shouldn't have many of them. They need to spend food to get more of them, and I think they can only do that if they're attacking. If they're defending, they get the sort of static bonus thing. And the Skaven corruption is really low in this area, so I think they're going to have, like, maybe one. But we'll see. They might not even use it at all. I've seen the AI just not use it as well. The Goblobber and the Grudge Throwers are just going to focus on weapon teams. Storm Vermin, Clan Rats, other Clan Rats, Skaven Slaves if they have any, hero units. Mind you, he does have a Doom Flayer. Yes, this is a Doom Flayer, not a Doom Wheel. He does have a Doom Flayer that I suppose, you know, is a bit of a threat in some universe, but it's like not really. Okay, I'm gonna use this. Didn't realize that's how it worked. I thought it was more like a wind spell, because that's what it looked like. And they completely messed up their placement of this thing. Oh, but they did remind me I forgot to turn off skirmish mode for these guys. Ugh. Stupid. Alright. Get into position. So now that we're properly in range, Rattling guns. Warp grinders can stay. Warp grinders can live for now. Fire team. Rattling guns with fire team. I think one grudge thrower should be able to do a significant enough amount of damage to all of these by the time they get in range. Should be. Doesn't mean that they will, but, you know. Okay, I'm fine with it. You keep hitting the wrong thing. I love this. They keep shooting the wrong hero. It's very, very amusing. Okay, let's make sure he doesn't flank us or anything. No, I picked the wrong unit for the job. Oh! You, okay. Okay, we're doing no damage to the weapons teams. We are doing virtually no damage to the weapons teams. Very concerning. I thought one per would do enough to sort of... And it did do enough damage to this Rattling gun. Was that the... Yeah, that wasn't the... Huh. Interesting. I guess it just goes to show the element of randomness here, I guess. We broke this Rattling gun team, and that's what I was hoping would happen to all the other weapons teams, but here, we did, like, barely any damage to them. Look at this. We did, like, no damage here. Alright, we can rectify that with... Quarrelers. Although it's not an ideal fight. You know, it is what it is. And then over here, these are okay. Just keep shooting. You know what? I have faith in my soldiers. Just keep shooting. Okay, these guys are going to take damage. It's just the way of the world. And we actually broke the Rattling guns. Or we're breaking them now. And we've broken them. Okay. So long as they're broken, they're not a threat. Warp grinders are alright. Warp fire teams are devastating, but they have very limited range. And as a result of their limited ranginess, I need to move out of the way of this if I can. Was that overcast? I feel like that was overcast. Didn't see this. Ouch. Where are they? Ooh, they got a lot closer than I thought they would. And I kept the fucking thing firing on them. Like, seriously. Why am I even paying you? No, that's falling apart. I should move closer with these guys. Closer here. I'm sorry, I've sent 3 units after this fracking wheel, and none of the 3 units are capable of stopping the fracking wheel. That was overcast again, that's... okay. Seems a bit soon is all I'm saying, but... Like I said, I was always going to take a bunch of damage here. And this was never going to be an easy battle where I don't take any damage. That was just not going to happen. I love how he just keeps moving through my ranks completely undisturbed by everything. That was overcast again. You've overcast the same spell 3 times in less than a minute. You know, I understand the AI needs to get buffs, but there has to be a reasonable amount, you know, there has to be some reason. Otherwise, what are we if not just like Skaven, eh? That's, again, I'm pretty sure it's the same minute of the battle. Okay, this one wasn't overcast at least, but... You get my frustration, like, it's a bit much. It's a bit much. In the previous battle, you haven't used one. This is like one spell. You haven't used a single spell in the previous battle. Now you're using them in the hundreds. It's like
Yes, Lord. Yes.
should really try and strive for some type of balance.
Killers. It is a reckoning.
Victory is in our grasp. I'm sure it's not, but it's good of you to believe. Okay, that battle is done. Turn around, start firing. You're not firing what I told you to. Do we need to replenish anyone's ammo? Not really.
Fire on your command.
I mean, this is just getting hilarious, honestly. Like, I understand that this guy's way too slow to stop him, but
Warriors.
it is nonetheless hilarious. Alright, let's just kill all his men and then
Lead them at blood.
that ought to... What, again, really? On the same unit?
Withdraw. We losing. Show us the target.
Yeah, I love how they're fleeing on 17, 16 or whatever. Skaven have more leadership than me, and like, it's just...
Move to attack.
It's depressing, is what it is. I would call it primarily depressing. Like, Skaven fought at around the same level when there was about the same percentage of the unit left, and they didn't flee. Skaven. I don't know what to tell you.
Fire on the eggs. Dwarves, ready axes. Quarrelers. Grudge thrower.
See if we can't get some damage over here as they flee. Nah, you know. I guess that's the downside of a battle like this. You don't get to chase down the enemy too much. Alright, well, we did win, so I guess that's all that matters. There we go. Execute, I think. Yeah, execute and loot. Okay, that was 2 difficult battles that we had to do, and I think that's enough for the video. I need to make a little bit of a break. Honestly, I'm not sure how long the video is, but it's more than 20 minutes, I'm pretty sure. And that's good enough, because, like, I genuinely don't have no idea how long the video is, but I need
Thorek Ironbrow.
physically need a bit of a break, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yes.
kind of hard. Alright, let's get you some... This is what I wanted to compare, like, Rangers to... Oh? Did they change the Rangers? Wait, I'm comparing the right thing, right? Okay. So, Rangers versus Quarrelers. They changed them, they did! They did change the Rangers were a lot worse. So, the Rangers used to have, I think, less range, kind of ironically, and I think their missile strength was... It was either a little bit weaker or a little bit stronger. I can't remember off the top of my head, but... What I do remember was... Yeah, see, here you go. Rangers with great weapons. Now close quarter infantry. Stalk, Vanguard, fast for a dwarf armor, piercing. They were more like this, like in terms of range, and I can't remember the missile strength, but I knew that they had less range and less missile strength, or right around the same, and their other stats were also not as good. Now Rangers are just I don't know, like a little bit weaker. Yeah, I mean, they have a little bit less ammo. They're a little bit faster, but they have less armor, leadership, and health, but that's not what you need Quarrelers for anyway, and it's not that big of a difference either. I mean, okay, it's half the armor, so that's quite significant, but... They're still not worth recruiting in my eyes, because they're basically the same, they're just like 5 gold less in terms of upkeep. It's like, who cares? What about Rangers with great weapons? Well, they have the same armor, but... I don't know. Neither are that appealing or amazing, honestly. Get some cannons in this army, and then we'll see what we're going to do with it. Might get Rangers just for the hell of it, you know, bit of flavour. Wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. Okay, let's go with Lion's Instinct. Let's buff you with Missile Strength, I think. It's going to be good. Mobility wouldn't be bad either, but let's keep it like this for now, and that's it. Enough for this video. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Like, subscribe, down if you enjoyed it, and want to stay tuned with the rest of the series and the rest of the content I produce on the channel. In this episode, I was gonna talk about Eisenhorn Xenos. It's Warhammer 40k, but I started reading it yesterday, and yeah, it's a really, really good piece of literature, and I fully recommend it. And I'll talk more about it in the next episode, I guess. Didn't really have time now. I had quite a few attention-demanding battles, so I think next time is going to be a bit easier. Anyways, until then, have fun, take care, and bye-bye.